What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's start with Monday Night Football. Took yesterday off, so let's start with Monday Night Football right now. Dallas cruises past the Raiders 33 to 16. It was 24-9 at the half. It was 31 to 9 going into the fourth quarter. Never a doubt for Dallas. They get to 4-5-1 on the season. Raiders up to 2-8. Dallas obviously was able to put up a lot of points. They were easily that Raider defense is. Eesh. I mean, their whole team is easy, but the defense especially. Dak 25 of 33 for 268 yards, four touchdowns, no interceptions. Javonte Williams went for 93 yards. Pickens, five catches, 144 yards and a touchdown. Also a touchdown for CeeDee Lamb. Both guys were benched for the first drive of the game. There's a rumor going around that they were both out gambling till 7 o'clock in the morning. That's just absurd. Reminds me of C.J. Abrams, the Washington Nationals shortstop from that happened in 2024. Anyway, they didn't really share with anything with the media. They kind of dodged the question, kind of like when McNeil and Lindor got into what we all could assume was a bit of a scuffle in 2021's obviously different sport with the Mets and baseball, and they Lindor went up like that rat versus raccoon thing, kind of similar thing. But they will both produce when it mattered. On the Raiders side, holy yikes. Geno Smith on another rough game, just 27 to 42, just 238 yards, touchdown, and an interception. Brock Bowers, 7 catches, 72 yards, and lost. Yeah, there's not a lot to like from the Raiders' perspective. I think they need to tear that whole thing down. They never really should have extended Max Crosby. He's an incredible player, one of the best defensive players in all of football, elite edge rusher. Great story that, you overcame some substance abuse issues. Great guy, incredible football player. But uh he's I don't know why they extended him. He's worth every penny, don't get me wrong. I just realized Jamal Adams is on the Raiders. That's kind of wild, but not know that guy was still in the league. I mean, he recorded the sack in the game. He's an incredible player, but he's got 6 sacks this year, two forced fumbles, and a pick. And again, he's worth every penny. Well, he's making what? A little over 30 million a year, so he's worth every penny, but this team is not even remotely close to even competing whatsoever. I trade him, just blow his whole thing up. And I like Pete Carroll a lot. He's had a great career, coach at USC for a while, had lots of success there. Obviously, was with the Seattle Seahawks for almost 15 years, Super Bowl champion back in 2013. Should have had a second in 2014. But I just thought he was a fit for this team. He's what, 74 years of age? So realistically, he's not going to do this for much longer. He's kind of like a stopgap coach, and that's just not what they need right now. They need a younger guy in there that can relate to this locker room a little bit more, and help kind of rebuild this team. And Pete Carroll's is not a guy you bring in to rebuild a team. He's 74 years old. He's had a great career, but it's not working. Every week they're undisciplined, they're uncompetitive. It's not like a Pete Carroll group. It's just not working. And I don't like, firing coaches after one season. You fired Pierce after only 1 year. You uh, if you have a new coach next year, it'll be your fourth coach in 3 years. That's not good. But it's just not working out. It is just not a fit. If I'm John Spike, the general manager, also in his first season, which is the general manager there, I'm going to Mark Davis and to Tom Brady, their ownership group, and being like, look, I know, you spent a lot of money to get Josh McDaniels out of here and get who was it, Chip Kelly, who was the OGM, whatever it was, out of there. You decided to give Antonio Pierce a full-time shot. It didn't work out. You brought me in. You trusted me. I brought in Pete Carroll, former Super Bowl winning head coach in Seattle. And to give up on him in 1 year seems a little bit extreme, but it's just not working out. It's not going to work out with him. This team needs to be torn down and kind of start over. But yeah, that's all I have for the Raiders. That team's really bad. Uh, Chip Kelly is a dead man walking, the offensive coordinator. How do you have 12 rush attempts in the whole game? Geno Smith was your leading rusher with 14 yards. You ran for 27 yards the whole game. I get they were down big pretty early. But you gotta at least try. You drafted Ashton Genty, who's one of the best running backs to come out of college in a while. Sixth overall. And he had 6 carries for 7 yards. 6 carries the whole game. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then the offensive line is terrible. Let's see how many sacks they give up. What do they give up? 4 or 5 sacks? Like that's terrible. Made the Dallas defense, who is maybe the worst defense in the league, one of the worst units in all of football, made them look really, really strong. It's bad, just but 6 carries for Ashton Genty. Especially now that your best receiver is Trey Tucker, which Kobe Myers now in Jacksonville. I just don't understand anything with this organization. If I'm John Spytek, this you inherited this awful roster. You tried, bringing in, former great head coach and Pete Carroll, but it just hasn't worked. I'd let him go. I just tear this thing apart. Everybody, Geno Smith, Max Crosby. You think, oh well, you should look to build around Max Crosby. He's the only piece you have that you can get anything for. Like Ashton Jennings, like, maybe one of the few guys I would keep. Brock Bowers I'd probably keep him around as well. Even him, I would even consider it at this point. I think that you didn't draft him, so I would even consider sniffing around his market. You can probably get a ton for him. But Genty's the guy that you drafted. You're gonna want to build around him. But with Max Crosby, like that's the only real piece that you have right now that you can get that you should be looking to move that you can get anything for. Like yes, they should try and get rid of Geno Smith the second the season ends. But what are you gonna get for a 36-year-old quarterback who's got $80+ million left on his contract, who is having his worst year since those Jets seasons back in 2013, 2014? Like, what the heck are you gonna get for that guy? You might have to eat some money, and you'll be lucky if you even get a fourth-round pick back for him. I'm not sure if someone even give him a chance to start. They probably will. There's gonna be teams that are gonna want a new quarterback. Even if he just is a bridge guy for a year. But Raiders blow it up. It's not working. Blow that thing to smithereens. But moving on to college football, let's talk about college football playoff. This is what the college football playoff put out heading into week 13. The regular season is coming to an end pretty soon in college football. Top four is Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M. They're the top three. That remains unchanged. Georgia moves into the top four with Alabama's loss. Number 5 is Texas Tech. Number 6 is Ole Miss. Number 7 is Oregon. Oklahoma moves up to the 8th spot. Number 9 is Notre Dame. Alabama slips to 10th in the rankings, so they still are involved in the college football playoff, but they are now ranked 10th. And then remember, so the last two teams in the court, technically, if you look at just the composite rankings, I think it was BYU and then Utah. But remember, the ACC gets an automatic bid, and then so is the best group of 5 teams. So Miami right now is the 11th spot right now, and the 12th spot is Tulane. Tulane right now is the group of 5 team. It's gonna be interesting who that group of 5 team is. It could be Tulane, could be South Florida. Memphis has been involved in that. JMU's got a shot. They're actually ranked right now. JMU. And even Navy, they're not ranked right now, but they're somewhat close to the top 25. They had a big win this past week. They're 8-2 on the year. So could be interesting who that group of 5 team is, but getting very tight with the college football playoff, this 12-team playoff. Before we move on, just want to announce that Virginia Tech has hired James Franklin as the next head coach. I think this is a really good hire for Virginia Tech. They have not been very good for a while. I know James Franklin was just kind of win the big one. What was he? 4-21 against top 10 teams at Penn State. What was he? 2-21 or something against top 6 teams. But Virginia Tech hasn't won 10 games. I don't remember how long. If they go 10-2 and end up being the 15th best team in the country every year, they will take that in a heartbeat. This is a really good fit. You got to remember, everyone was saying maybe he should go to the SEC. Should he look at the LSU or the Florida job? This is a guy who came from the SEC before Penn State. He was at Vanderbilt before he took the Penn State job all those years ago. And But the ACC's got a much clearer path to the playoff than he's in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is loaded. I mean, look at the country for the playoff right now. You have Ohio State and Indiana are the top two. You have Oregon at 7 right now. You have a bunch of other teams kind of hanging around, like Michigan and a few others. The ACC, right now Miami would be in. Like, what are we doing? ACC is wide open. I mean, just as again, just here, Miami's not a great team. They're a good team. They're not a great team. They're right now the best team in that conference. Like Georgia Tech is good, but they're not overpowering. And who else is already over there? Like Virginia and Louisville have been surprisingly solid this year. And then who else? Like Duke might come out of the ACC, and if they do, they might have to take away their automatic bid. That's going to get really messy. Duke football for crying out loud. And then who else is in that conference? North Carolina sucks. Big Forest isn't great. Like, and it's a joke. So Virginia Tech with James Franklin, they have a chance to really run that conference for a while. This is a really, really good fit. And honestly, a lot of people were joking, oh, imagine if Virginia Tech wins 10 games before Penn State does. Don't be surprised. It might happen. It might happen. Might even joking. This is a really good fit. I think a very good hire for Virginia Tech. Let's talk about NFL power rankings now. Heading into what is this, week 13? I mean, yeah, heading into week 13, my NFL power rankings. At 32nd, it remains the Tennessee Titans. Still them as the worst team in all of football. They have one win all season. They are absolutely brutal. They are absolutely terrible. They 1-9 this year. They are just god awful. They have a rookie in Cam Ward, who I don't have much confidence in. He's been terrible. He's being left out to die. Coach is already gone. They're awful. They're hardly even competitive every single week. The coaching change has done nothing, and they suck. They are the worst team in football. At 31st still the New York Jets. Of course, Justin Fields has been benched for Tyrod Taylor. There's just nothing there. Obviously, just a dreadful organization. I would argue the worst run organization in all of sports, certainly all of football. Cleveland's right there, but I really think it's the Jets. Tyrod Taylor, at least he can kind of push the ball down the field. Fields can't even do that. At least Tyrod Taylor can perform the basic functions of the position. And it's point to start Brady Cook. Undrafted free agent, you don't know what he is. He probably sucks ass, but Tyrod Taylor, you know what he is. He's a backup, and he's well past his prime. Can't stay on the field. Justin Fields, you know what he is. He's not starting quarterback in this league. Isn't. He won't be on the team next year. I don't think Tyrod Taylor will be either. He's gonna be a free agent. Like Brady Cook, I mean, is he any good? Probably not. And he's throwing to, with Gary Wilson, or he's throwing to, A.D. Mitchell, who flat out sucks. John Mechie, who's been here for 5 minutes, and God knows who. With that offensive line, granted, the offensive line isn't bad. Just very young. Just, I don't know what to say anymore. Jets suck. They're 2-8. And they have nothing on defense either. The coaching staff sucks. They're at 31. 30th is New Orleans Saints. They're 2-8 on the year, coming off a bye. So now Taylor Shuffle get to audition, prove that he was worth a second round pick, and possibly give the Saints some ideas. Maybe start him next year. If Shuck proves he deserves at least a shot to be the starter next year, maybe if you're the Saints, that helps you because now you don't have to worry about drafting a quarterback if you're projected top 5 pick. And you can go a different way. You could trade down, get some more picks. You can just take best player available, whoever that may be, whether that's an offensive lineman or an edge rusher or a receiver, or whatever that might be. And then, you can, you're probably not going to be good next year either. And then, if you have a good draft class, then you can go out next year in a much better quarterback class and take your guy if need be. And if Shuck ends up being the guy, then you got to steal, and now that makes building your roster a lot easier. And you should come out of cap hell in this next year or two. Hopefully next year. Finally, after what seems like 2 decades. 29th, I've Las Vegas Raiders. They are just brutal. I already did the rundown of them. They gotta blow it up. It's just nothing going right now. You have as close to a generational running back as you'll get, and he had 6 carries in the last game. I don't understand in the slightest. They are absolutely dreadful. Can't stop anybody. Is there a team that's worse in the trenches than the Las Vegas Raiders? Just overall. Is there a team worse? Maybe not so with Max Crosby. At least the offensive line is holy moly bad. Dallas can't rush the pass to save their life. I know they just brought in Quentin Williams, which helps, but he's also not really a pass rusher. He's more of a run stuffer. He's one of the best run stuffers in football, but as a pocket passer, as a pocket rusher rather, not that's not never been his complete strong suit. 28th is the Cleveland Browns. Shador Sanders to start this week against the Raiders. That's going to be a brutal watch, by the way. He's brutal. We saw it last week. Dylan Gabriel isn't worse than Shador. That's not saying a whole lot, but he's also beyond horrible. Uh, Poor Miles Garrett. Okay, let me take a step back. I say poor Miles Garrett, but he also signed there. Can he stop throwing fits on the sideline? Like, I don't mean to put my foot in my own mouth there. I probably should have thought before I talked there, but can you stop throwing fits? You signed. You should have just went through with your trade request and gotten the hell off that football team. What are you doing? But yeah, they're brutal, brutal. 27th is New York Giants. It looked just as bad even with the coaching change. How Shane Bowen is still on that coaching staff? Does he have something on Mike Kafka or Joe Shane or John Mara? He must. I don't know how that guy's still employed. Um, Even worse, Joe Shane has to have something on John Mara. How is that guy still employed? Look at his draft picks. I can go down the list. Okay, looks like he hit on Jackson Dart. Looks like he hit on Malik Neighbors. Looks like he got a steal in Cam Scatterbo. First of all, with Cam Scatterbo, can you stop getting on the guy for the wrestling stuff? I mean, just okay, he was angled 3 weeks ago. You guys are pretending like Undertaker threw him off a Hell in a Cell like he did to Mankind 30 years ago. Like he didn't get thrown off a Hell in a Cell. He shoved JD McDonough and then took a push from I forget if it was Dahmer or Finn Balor. Um, Come on, it's WWE. They work with celebrities all the time, especially since TKO bought the company. They're not going to put them in harm's way. It's at the Garden. Half the fans there are probably Giants fans. Come on, stop. Just stop. Double F fan beat that topic to death all day yesterday. Good God. But anyway, he looks like you got something with him. But again, like, why is Jalen Hyde on the roster? He was a third round pick. The guy can't run a route to save his life. He has no hands. The guy flat out sucks. Isaiah Hodgins was somehow not on the roster over him this whole year. I don't understand. Hodgins was the guy who was serviceable for a couple of years there. First game back has 5 catches, has a bunch of big third down catches, and then Jimmy Hyde does that on the last play. Like, I don't know how that guy's even still on the roster. That is just horrid. And then Kayvon Thibodeau was a top 7 pick. He's been best in that. Been the best in average player. He's had 110 sack season, nothing special. Who else? Abdul Carr was the third overall pick. He's been a major disappointment. He has half a sack this whole season. Yeah, he's been late to meetings all throughout the year. Just come out. He was just suspended for a quarter in their last game. Apparently, he fell asleep in a meeting, which he denied. Who knows if that's true or not? But it doesn't matter. It's still pathetic. Guy was considered generational pass rusher, best player in the class. I drafted him at 3. He had more sacks on wrestling television, freaking when he pushed Finn Balor than he has the whole season with the Giants. He's been a major disappointment. I could keep going. He traded up for Deontay Banks. I tried to tell people years ago, like, this guy can't play corner. They're like, oh, maybe he's a number 2 corner. He could be solid. No, that guy blows. He is god awful, just atrocious. And Evan Neal was a what was he, a top 5, 7 pick? That guy flat out sucks. The off the tackle, he blows. Just time after time after time. You cannot miss on this many high picks and expect to be a competent football team. You just can't do it. Not to mention Shane paid Daniel Jones 160 million and let Saquon walk, and didn't pay Xavier McKinney, who then leads the leading interceptions as soon as he leaves. Saquon off the Player of the Year in the Super Bowl as soon as he leaves. Just you can't even you can't just even fathom this. Oh, not for nothing, Daniel Jones might be a Pro Bowler this year with the Colts. Crazy. 26 is Miami Dolphins. I mean, they've looked a little better since they fired the GM. Probably because guys are starting to realize, oh boy, a lot of changes are coming. A teardown should be happening. I don't really care about the wins you've had, even though you beat the Bills. Tuzla looked a little better, but still, at this point, you kind of know what he is. The Rush should be blown to smithereens. If anything, the more games they win, first of all, that's the worse record they're going to have, and the more of a chance that somehow Mike McDaniel finds himself back on the head coach seat next year. At 25th is the Arizona Cardinals. They're what 3-8 on the year. Uh, they suck too. Yeah, the 3-7. Excuse me. They're going to have a new quarterback next year. I don't say head coach, but they might have a new head coach as well. I don't fully blame Gannon. I don't think this roster is very good. I've said it many times on this show. I never thought this roster was all that great. People tried to tell me that it's better than it was. I was like, I don't know. Like in the offseason, they picked up Josh Sweat, which has been a good move. I liked it at the time. Other than that, there wasn't really a whole lot that was done. But Brissett's running the offense better than Kyler Murray has. I'll give the staff one more year. We'll let them pick their quarterback, but it's brutal right now. Marvin Harrison's not going to play again this week. Make a Trey Benson back, but at this point, it's no difference. 24 was Washington Commanders. They're just depleted with injuries. Jay Nails might come back this week or at some point, but there's no point really. Terry McLaurin's also out. They have injuries on defense. Um, they're 3-8. They suck. Season's over. 23rd is the Bengals. They're at 3-7. Obviously, no Joe Burrow, but man, Zach Taylor, his game management is so poor. It's so bad. The offensive line is terrible. They may be the worst defense in all of football. Never Chase is suspended against New England for spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Dude, Louis denied. It's like, dude, you got caught 4K. Come on. What are we doing here? Uh, Bengals were 3-7. 22nd, the Atlanta Falcons. They are a train wreck. They got a $180 million backup quarterback in Kirk Cousins, who's now the starter because Michael Penix suffered a partial tear in his ACL. He's out for the season. It's his fifth season-ending injury in 8 years dating back to college. I think they took this guy in the top 10. Drake London is hurt. Raheem Morris is a brutal head coach. He has to go. If Davis was saying this week he should not even get out of the building. See ya. Bye. And GM Terry Fontenot, I mean, look, you've done a few good things. You know, you hit on Bijan, you hit on Drake London, but taking an average playing at fourth overall and Kyle Pitts is just ludicrous. Um, Paying a 36-year-old Kirk Cousins $180 million and then drafting a fragile Michael Penix in the top 10 after we crapped the bed in the national championship against Michigan that year is just GM malpractice. You traded up to get James Pierce in the first round, so you don't have a first round pick. You have the eighth pick of season today. Right now, they'll go with the Rams. The Rams might win a Super Bowl and have a top 10 pick. Right now, they're 8-2. They're rolling. Like, it's just horrible, 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 horrible. They literally have not recovered since 28-3. I don't think they've won a playoff game since. It's just a joke of a franchise, and they complete new regime just to start fresh. How do you spend $180 million on a quarterback and draft another one in the top 10 to try and get out of quarterback Cal and still be there? That's almost hard to do. 20 versus Dallas are at 4-5-1. Look, the offense is talented. Dak Prescott's been solid this year. Javonte Williams' best year since at least his rookie year, if not his best year of his career. CB and Pickens have been a great duo. You would think they should want to bring back Pickens. If Jerry Jones will let that guy go, he's just at that point he needs to sell. A lot of tempting weapons over there, but that defense is just so bad. I mean, Quinn Williams played very well last week. He was also against the Raiders. I think I could have had a second half against the Raiders, but that was, I mean, they gave up a 1 and a 2 for him. I didn't think it made a whole lot of sense for them. Just, trade them. Anyway, it's a lose-lose trade if you ask me, but I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. They're at 4-5-1. 20 is the Houston Texans. They're at 5-5. But that defense is very good. I do still believe in CJ Stroud, but just no running game with Joe Mixon still on the shelf. Nick Chubb's walk, Woody Parks, whatever the hell his name is not very good. Nico Collins is your only weapon, and he's been nicked up pretty much all season. The offensive line is just dreadful. It's absolutely terrible. 19th is the Minnesota Vikings. They're at 4-6. 19 for 9. He blows. That guy absolutely sucks. How's this talented in your 4-6? I get that division's loaded, but come on. That team is better than their record. 18th is the Carolina Panthers. They're 6-5. Look, Bryce Young hasn't been very impressive, but he's had some games here or there that he's played well in. Two games against the Falcons. Great running game with Rico Dowdle. Ted McMillan's had a great rookie season. The offensive line's pretty good. Have some injuries, but they've held together. The defense, very inconsistent. Still struggling against the run, but they're getting better. Secondary's definitely getting better. When they're on, that's a good football team. It's got a real good defense, but when they're off, it's kind of a flawed defense with really not much of a passing offense. But they're at 6-5, only half game out of first place. 17th is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They've been pretty solid overall. They're at 6-4. Uh, Benefited a little bit from the easy schedule, and right now they're banged up with Hunter on injured reserve. Uh, Brian Thomas has been nicked up. He's been had disappointing year after a great rookie season. And the defense just kind of been okay, but Kuz Liam Conley's done a good job. They're at 6-4. And they're sitting at 17 in my power ranking. 16th is the Chicago Bears. But they're 7-3 somehow. This is a team that was what were they in one score game? Was it like 0-11 or something crazy, or 0 and something? They're 5-0 in those this year. They're winning games that they lost last year. Ben Johnson's done a great job, even with a done with a quarterback and Caleb Williams. But Roma Dunjay's been great. Swift's had a good year on the ground. Even with a bit of a shaky defense, they're at 7-3 and first place in the NFC North. That is crazy to think about. 15th is Baltimore Ravens. They won 4 in a row. Lamar is back. Defense is playing better. They're getting healthier. I really think they're going to win the AFC North. 14th, the Pittsburgh Steelers for now. Aaron Rodgers actually had a decent year, but that defense has let them down. Now he's got a wrist injury. He might not play this week. That's not as bad as they thought. 13th is the Chargers. Look, they're 7-4. They've had a good year. Herbert's great, but so many injuries. Their offensive line is depleted. Herbert's getting killed back there. Still no Marion Hampton. Defense is beat up. They're up 13th, but they're hanging by a thread. 12th is the 49ers. Kind of the same boat with Chargers. Expect they have a little bit of a better outlook because they're getting healthier. Just got Brock Purdy back as well. Rookie Pearsall. Kale's been back. Juwan Jennings has been back. So obviously Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, both out of the year on defense, but 7-3 right now. 11th is the Buccaneers. They've fallen a lot in recent weeks. Look, Baker Mayfield's had a great season. Rashad White's been pretty solid. Emeka Egbuka should be offensive rookie of the year. That's a good team, but so many injuries. Bucky Irving is out. Of course, Galvin's still out. Mike Evans is out. They've injuries all over the roster. I don't think Temple's back rid of a head coach, and just they're sitting at 11. At 10th, I still have the Kansas City Chiefs. They tumble a lot from last week, but they're at 5-5. They're a game out of the playoffs right now. They are in some trouble. They cannot run the football. Isaiah Pacheco's been terrible this year because injuries are continuing to pile up. Albert Tolleri, second stint, the Chief has not been productive at all, just like his first stint. Look, Rashee Rice is a good player. Xavier Warrior is a good player. Kelsey can still play, but just they have no running game. The offensive line is shaky. The defense is pretty good, but Mahomes hasn't been playing great lately. Um, I'll say this: if they beat the Colts this week, I think they have a shot of potentially going back to the Super Bowl. Not gonna lie, because their schedule is very easy the rest of the way. They have a game against Washington. They're not any good. They have another game against Denver, who is really good. But again, they've not been very good on the road. That's a very, very winnable game for them. They have at least one more against the Chargers, who are beat up. They have at least one more against the Raiders, who are a train wreck. I think they have Tennessee, who's the worst team in football. So the schedule's pretty favorable. But if they lose to the Colts, I think they're in some trouble. Like they're already in a little bit of trouble. If they lose to Indianapolis, they are in some deep trouble because now you look at the schedule, it still is relatively favorable to get into the playoffs, maybe, but like you're at 5-6. You still have to play Denver and the Chargers, granted at home. I don't know. I don't know. Ninth is the Seattle Seahawks. Tough loss this past week. They're still a good team. They're at 7-3. Darnold overall has had a good year. They've had a solid run back two of Kenneth Walker and Jack Charbonnet, I'm sure. Fantasy owners are frustrated with Kenneth Walker, but Charbonnet's kind of taking over the backfield, but still better split. But JSN is on another level right now. Shahid's in town now. The defense has been really good, very underrated. But Mike McDonald's did a great job as a head coach right now in his second season. They're at 9. 8 is the Denver Broncos. Look, they're barely beaten teams. A lot of bad teams they've barely gotten by. But they've been unbeatable at home at 6 now, but only 3-2 on the road. They've had trouble on the road. Bo Nix has not overall had a great year, but has had some clutch drives late in games. But now J.K. Dobbins is out for the year. We'll see what R.J. Harvey can do. He's going to get a chance to take over the backfield. That defense is ferocious, maybe the best in the league, but don't have Pat Surtain right now. But big win over the Chiefs last week on the game-winning kick by Lutz. At 7 of the Indianapolis Colts. Look, they're 8-2. Daniel Jones, last couple weeks, has not been as dominant as he was in the beginning of the year, but he's had a good year. Jonathan Taylor is on another level right now. He should be MVP of the league, in my opinion. Got some solid pass catchers. Great offensive line. Defense has been solid. Obviously, pick up Sauce Gardner, but trade left from the Jets. But they're all in. They gave up 2 first-round picks for him. 6th is the Buffalo Bills. This is a flawed team. Josh Allen's great. James Cook's had a career year. He's a great back. But just the receiving core isn't very good. Chris you're the only real receiver you have. Kincaid's hurt. Keon Coleman was benched last week. Defensively, they're not that great. 7-3. Honestly, if they lose in the first round here, which I think is possible, because they're probably not going to even win their division with the Patriots, McDermott might get fired. I don't know how you bring them back. You just keep doing this year in, year out. At some point, Josh Allen's going to run out of prime years. At 5, I have the Green Bay Packers. This offense is all out of whack. Jordan Love is struggling. Josh Jacobs is not running the ball as effective as he was last year. He might not play this coming week. Jaden Reed's still on IR, though he might be coming back soon. Might practice this week. Tucker Kraft is out for the year, so it's really just Dubes and a rookie Matthew Golden who's not been very productive. No true one in that offense. But offensive line is very good. That defense is one of the best in football. Obviously, with Micah Parsons in that group. But I'm at LaFleur. Be careful, buddy. If a new president coming in, if they keep struggling, you end up losing in the first round. I don't know if he comes back. 4th is the Lions, and this team is beat up in the secondary, but otherwise, this is a great football team. Dan Campbell's a great coach. We know that. He hasn't missed Ben Johnson all that much. Just Jared Goff's still playing though. Jahmyr Gibbs is a dog. They can still run the football. They got a great receiving core. Amon-Ra's a stud. J-Mill's a great deep threat. Laporta's a good tight end. The offensive line has still been very good. Up front, they're great. Aiden Hutchinson is a stud. If it wasn't for Myles Garrett, I think he'd be Defensive Player of the Year favorite. But they come in at 4. 3rd is New England Patriots. Look, they haven't really played anybody, but they're winning games. They've won they beat the teams that have been the slight challenges, which has been Buffalo and Tampa. They've taken care of business against the bad team. Drake May's played really well. The running game's getting going with Trevion Henderson. Diggs has had a good year. The offensive line is not in date from last year with Will Campbell. He might win the Protector of the Year award, to be honest. Off the line, especially in pass protection, has been a whole lot better. They've been good defensively. They got a good pass rush, best team against the run. Secondary can be a little bit shaky, but you also have Christian Gonzalez, who's one of the best corners in football. That's helpful. And then at 2, I have the Los Angeles Rams. They are just rolling right now. 8-2. Stafford might win MVP. Kyron behind him. Puka and Devontae at receiver. Good defense led by that very strong front 7. Number 1, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. I know that offense is struggling. Saquon isn't the same as he was last year. Hurts is struggling. AJ Brown isn't happy. But they still got a loaded offensive line. That defense is ferocious. It's playing really well. They right now are my number 1 team. So we're going to talk some baseball. We got some free agency updates. Before that, first of all, I am going to do some free agency predictions soon. Could even be this week. And then we got honestly, I'll probably do it tomorrow. We got the non-tender deadline Friday. But we got essentially in the NHL, Kings winger Adrian Kemp gets an 8-year, $85 million extension. He's a great player. He's had at least 28 goals or more each of the last 4 seasons. He had 35 goals in his breakout year in 2022, 2023. 41 goals. 2 seasons ago, we had 28 goals, 75 points. Last year, 35 goals, 73 points. This year, 6 goals, 19 points in his first 20 games. One of the premier goal scorers in the sport. And he gets a huge extension, the 29-year-old from the Sacramento basketball, the Los Angeles Kings. But now over to baseball. A MLB record, 4 players accepted a qualifying offer, the 1-year deal. It's worth a touch over $22 million this year. They were Trent Grisham, Yankees outfielder, Cubs starting pitcher Shoto Imanaga, Detroit Tigers second baseman Gleyber Torres, and Brewers starting pitcher Brandon Woodruff. I understand why all 4 did so. Kind of for the same reason. I just think they didn't think they were going to get $22 million on the open market. Trent Grisham had a career this season, 34 home runs. Was dreadful in the playoffs, but was the best year of his career. Is he going to do that again? I cannot imagine. He seems like a very obvious progression candidate. However, his best chance of doing that again probably will happen in the Bronx. Power hitting left-handed bat at Yankee Stadium. They tend to have field days because of that short fence in right field. If he were to go somewhere else, that probably doesn't happen. Even if he has, a good season, the home run numbers probably wouldn't be there. So he probably figured, I don't think I'm getting $22 million a year on the open market. Let's take the $22 million and come back for another year. And if Cody Bellinger leaves, he could be the everyday center fielder, might hit leadoff for them. Shiro Managa, the Cubs opted to have a 3 years and $57 million of his contract after he had a bit of a down year after a really strong first season after coming over from overseas. And so the Cubs said, you're not worth $20 million a year. He probably wasn't going to get 22 in the open market, so we took the $22 million. He was going to try and bounce back and cash in next year. Gleyber Torres. So Gleyber, in the first half of the season, was really good. Struggled down the stretch, had a 680 OPS in the second half of the year. But overall, hit 256, a career at 358 on base, 19 home runs, 74 RBI, 745 OPS. Overall, a decent year. Wasn't good defensively, but that's what you're going to get with Gleyber Torres. Was one of the best years of his career. Definitely a better team than he had his last year in the Bronx. Again, he made $14 million last year. He probably was going to get $22 million in the open market, so he's going to take the $22 million. Brandon Woodruff, and this makes total sense. It's the guy who's been often injured the last 3 years. When he's on the field, is an excellent starting pitcher. He has 3.2 ERA this year, but only made 12 starts. He's got maybe 30 starts in the last 3 years combined. And wasn't going to get a long-term deal. Probably wasn't going to get more than $22 million on the open market. So figured, let's stay where I've been my whole career in Milwaukee, try and stay healthy and cash in next year. And the Seattle Mariners re-signed Josh Naylor, 5 years, $92.5 million. That is a great deal for the Seattle Mariners. I thought he'd get even more money than this. I think this is an excellent move by them. He was a huge trade deadline pickup. Was very important down the stretch. He has become one of the best hitting first baseman in all of baseball. His breakout to that point in his career was in 2022 in Cleveland when he hit 256 with 20 homers, 79 RBIs. Drove in 97 runs off a 308 average and a 354 on base in 2023. 2024, his lone All-Star appearance hit 243, but the 31 homers, 108 RBIs. This past year, hit 295, 353 on base, 816 OPS, 20 homers, 92 RBIs. Was great in Seattle. Hit 299 for 340 on base and 831 OPS, 9 home runs, 33 RBIs for Seattle. Also had 30 steals, which is a lot for a first baseman. He is a great player, one of the better hitters in all baseball, and he remains in Seattle long term. He's a really good fit there, fits in that clubhouse very well. Still only going to be 29 next year, and he'll be back in Seattle long term. And one more move. The Angels and Orioles make a very surprising trade. Angels acquire starting pitcher Grayson Rodriguez from the Orioles. In return, send Taylor Ward to Baltimore. At first, I thought the Angels fleeced Baltimore. Now, I just don't understand this trade at all. So I get why this trade was made. The Angels need starting pitching. They need starting pitching since they drafted Mike Trout, basically. But and the Orioles do need another outfield bat. But Baltimore's been starved for starting pitching for a couple of years now. The whole rumor's been they are going to spend on starting pitching this offseason, and you trade Grayson Rodriguez, who could be your ace. Look, Grayson's got a lot of injury concerns. He didn't throw a single pitch last year, was hurt all year. But the previous season, 3.60 ERA, 160 and 2/3 innings, was once a top tier prospect. Has ace potential, but has a lot of injury problems. Ward last year had a career, only 228, but 36 home runs, 103 RBIs. He's got a lot of power. should be able to hit a lot of pops in Camden Yards. Much rather give up Grayson Rodriguez, but maybe Baltimore's like, you know what? This guy has so many injuries. We have, Kyle Bradish. If he's helping next year, if Tyler Wells is helping next year, and we add in free agency, he may not be needed. And but I think it's worth the gamble for the Angels, but for the Orioles, this is a trade you can't just wait and see what happens. If Taylor Moore goes out there, has 35 pops, and Grayson throws 80 innings and is hurt most of the year, obviously you're going to be like, the Angels did it again. But if, Grayson goes out and is an all-star next year and Taylor Ward, hits 220 with 9 home runs, isn't the same, then you're going to be like, oh, that was a terrible move by the Orioles. The Angels fleeced them. So, but it's a very surprising trade between the Orioles and the Angels. Game picks time. Starting with college football. Don't love the college football slate this week. It's probably gonna be a lot of blowouts. The noon slate is number one Ohio State against Rutgers. Ohio State's going to beat the brakes off them. A lot of these games this week, they really can do these earlier in the season. Don't do these in week 13. What are you doing? Ohio State's 10 now, the defending champs. Best team in the country. Rutgers is 5-5. They're gonna win by a lot, and it's in Columbus. Good lord, it's there by 31 and a half. Crazy, and they'll probably cover that. Samford's going to play Texas A&M. This game is going to be ugly. I don't even know what the line is, but it's going to be ugly. Samford's 1-10. Goodness gracious, A&M's 10-0. Obviously, we're down big in the half against South Carolina last week. Had to come all the way back, but they'll beat Samford by a lot. Missouri gets number 11 Oklahoma. It should be a good game. I'm gonna take Oklahoma. Um, should be a low scoring game. Got two really good defense. Oklahoma's offense isn't very good. Joe Matier is very inconsistent. But Oklahoma, they're 8-2. They're playing well. Give me the Oklahoma Sooners to win this game. Number 12, excuse me, number 13 Miami. They were technically in the college football playoff because they're best team in the ACC. Against Virginia Tech. Give me Miami. VTech is obviously happy that he's brought in James Franklin. I'm not sure. I can't imagine he'll be coaching the team right now. But Miami, they'll win this game. 12:45, Charlotte against number 4 Georgia. This game's gonna be ugly. Georgia's favored by 43 and a half. That's just ridiculous. Georgia by a zillion. Number 10 Alabama against Eastern Illinois. Yes, he's got to do these earlier in the season, man. Come on. Alabama by a billion. I don't even know who Eastern Illinois is. 3:30. An actual should be good game. Number 15 USC against number 7 Oregon. So a big game in the Big Ten. I want to take USC, but I'm going to go with Oregon. As much as I want to take USC, I'm not sold on Oregon. Dante Moore has been inconsistent. The offense has been inconsistent all year. That team's been inconsistent all year. But and USC is a solid team. They've been playing well, but I'm going to take Oregon at home. Syracuse against number 9 Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame. Syracuse has not been good, but Cedars 3-7. They can pound the rock. Syracuse has had a lot of injuries at quarterback this year. Give me Notre Dame. Kentucky against number 14 Vanderbilt. Give me Vanderbilt. They're still hanging around. Kentucky is not very good. They can't score. Give me Vanderbilt. Arkansas against number 17 Texas. Texas wins. Arkansas sucks. Already fired the coach. Bobby Petrino and his coup is back in there somehow. But give me Texas. Number 24 Tulane right now would be the group of 5 team heading to the college football playoff against Temple. I'm going to take Tulane. You never know with the American Conference that every game is usually pretty close. But give me Tulane. 4 o'clock, Kansas State against number 12 Utah. Give me Utah. Kansas State isn't very good. Utah right now will be the second team out of the playoff. Number 18 Michigan against Maryland. Give me Michigan. Another 4 o'clock start. Michigan's an unlarked, just somehow it's just hanging around the playoff. TCU against number 23 Houston. I'm gonna take TCU in an upset. I gotta pick some sort of upset. I'll take TCU. You Big 12 can be pretty wide open for the most part. I'll take TCU in an upset. Pittsburgh against number 16 Georgia Tech. I might take Georgia Tech. This should be a close game. Pitt got beat up by Notre Dame last week. Not much of a surprise. I'll take Georgia Tech. Haynes King is a good player. Give me Georgia Tech. Number 20, Tennessee against Florida in Gainesville. I'm gonna take Tennessee. Florida's just lost. A lot of talent on their roster. They shouldn't be 3-7, but we all know, Sunbelt Billy obviously couldn't pull it off. I'll take Tennessee to win that game. Number 21, Illinois against Wisconsin. Give me Illinois, who's surprisingly ranked this year. Wisconsin sucks. Give me Illinois. 8 o'clock, number 11, BYU against Cincinnati. Another Big 12 matchup. I'm going to take BYU. I'm going to take BYU. The only loss was to Texas Tech, who's really good. Give me BYU. Right now will be the first team out in the country football playoff. And then number 25, Arizona State against Colorado. I'm going to take Arizona State. It's in Boulder. I think it will be a close game, but Colorado sucks. I think them and Dion might part ways. They might. If so, maybe another year. I can see him just leaving on his own. But I think Sam might be leaving Arizona State after the year. I will take Arizona State to win that game. All righty. NFL game picks. Let's get to it. Thursday Night Football. Bills, Texans. This should be a close game. Both teams on short weeks. I'm going to take the Bills. I thought we're taking the Texans. Texans have got a good defense. Short week for both teams. Bills are flawed for sure. But I believe in Josh Allen. This seems like one of those games where it's going to be probably tied to be a 3-point game late in the fourth quarter. I trust Josh Allen and that Bills offense more than I do the Texans offense, though I do like CJ Stroud. Give me Buffalo Bills. Sunday slate. No international game, thank God. 1 o'clock, Steelers Bears. Fun fact, the Steelers have not won in Chicago in 30 years. Well, I think it happens. I'm going to take the Steelers. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I think he will. My thought process is, if you're Aaron Rodgers, he's going, you told me I don't need surgery, right? Okay. I'm 41 years old. Probably my last year playing. I need to own the Bears one more time, especially at Soldier Field. I think he will find his way to play, and he will do just enough to beat the Bears one more time. Patriots, Bengals, give me the Patriots. They're favored by 8. They probably cover that. The Bengals, they can't stop anyone's pass rush. The Patriots are going to put up a lot of points in this game. No Jamar Chase either for the Bengals. He's suspended because he spit on Jalen Ramsey. Freaking dumbass. Give me the Patriots. Giants, Lions. In Detroit. Detroit by a lot of points. Giants can't stop anybody. Lions might put up 40 points in this game, if not more. Giants are 2-9 for a reason. They haven't won a road game. They're 0-6 on the road. Yikes. That will put 0-7 on the road, I think, because I have the Lions winning. Vikings, Packers at Lambeau. I'm going to take the Packers. They got some injuries, obviously, but Jaden Reed is still hurt. Kraft is hurt. That offense is all out of whack, but their defense is so good. J.J. McCarthy, he might throw 9 picks in this game. He's terrible. I know Jalen might not play, but I believe in Emmanuel Wilson. Give me the Green Bay Packers to finally get on the meaningful win at home. Seahawks and Titans is the next game on the docket. Yeah, this is going to be a blowout. Seattle by a lot. Titans are so awful. Seattle's going to want revenge. After a tough loss to the Rams last week. The Rams are one of the best teams in the league. Titans are the worst team in football. 1-9. Seattle picks up a win. Colts, Chiefs. Huge game at Arrowhead. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think they know if they lose this game, they are in deep trouble. I think they find a way to win this game at home. Jets and Ravens. Give them the Ravens. In Baltimore. They're starting Tyrod Taylor, who, fun fact, started his career in Baltimore as a backup for his first 4 years behind Joe Flacco. Jets are god-awful. He's got nobody to throw to. Their defense can't stop anybody. Well, Lamar Jackson, you have him in fantasy, expect at least 30 points. Or this game is going to be ugly. Even the Ravens. Browns, Raiders, and Shador Fans' first ever start. I'm going to take the Browns. the Raiders. Both teams are absolute disasters. I'm going to take the Browns. So the Raiders, Myles Garrett is going to kill Geno Smith. He will kill him. He has 10 sacks in his last, 3 or 4 games? Yeah. He will eat Geno Smith alive. Nine. He needs 7 sacks in his last 7 games to tie the all-time sack record, I think. That was tier why Michael Shred had it at 22.5. He's at 15.5. He'll have a sack in this game for sure. Geno Smith, 12 ties and 13 picks. Yikes. Game of the Browns. Though we find the Raiders one for that, I can left Shador. So I may still be able to do so because I don't play very well, even though Raiders defense is yikers. 405, Jaguars, Cardinals. Give me Jacksonville. Arizona, still Marvin Harrison. They're a mess. Jacksonville, they got injuries to the receiving core, but I'll take Jacksonville. 425, Eagles, Cowboys. In Dallas. I'm going to take Philly. Dallas won't be able to move the ball like they did against the Rams against Philadelphia. It's a good matchup for the Eagles. Their offense is that whack, but Dallas can't really stop anybody. The defense won't be able to get pressure on the football like they did against the Rams against Philadelphia. Give me the Eagles. Falcons and Saints. I'm going to take the Saints. Look, both teams suck, but at least the Saints, both teams don't really have a plan, but the Saints, I guess you knew you were going to be bad. You're kind of stuck. The Falcons, just that you're a disaster. I think the Saints win this game. Another, it's a pretty easy matchup for Tyler Shuck. He looked good against Carolina. Atlanta's a joke. They're starting Kirk Cousins, who's looked cooked beyond cooked this year. I don't think wasn't playing in this game. Their defense has been bad, and I think the Saints win, which might get Raheem Morris fired, to be honest. Sunday Night Football. Bucks and Rams. I'm going to take the Rams. The Rams were at home. They're rolling. Bucks have a ton of injuries. Give me the Rams. And Monday Night Football. Panthers and 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers at home. This should be a relatively close game. Carolina can run the football. Their defense, when they're on, they're very good. But then the Niners are getting healthier. I think they pick up a win here. Monday Night Raw from this past Monday. We're going to talk some wrestling before we close this thing out. John Cena kicked off Raw at Madison Square Garden in his last ever appearance on Monday Night Raw. His only other appearances will be at Survivor Series, and then his final match at Saturday Night's main event on December 13th. Started cutting a promo, of course, the new Intercontinental Champion, and then Dom, who he took the title off of, interrupts him, and then challenged him to a match at Survivor Series in San Diego, where Dom is from. Remember, Cena beat him on Raw in Boston, where Cena is from. So it will be Cena against Dom Mysterio out there for the Intercontinental title at Survivor Series. I'm assuming Dom will win it back. That's the right thing to do, I would think. Then Dom's buddies came out, Balor and McDonough, and they all started attacking Cena. Then Sheamus came out to help out, but Judgment Day still have a numbers game until Rey Mysterio, of course, Dom's father, comes out. They go to a 6-man tag between Cena, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day. And of course, Cena, Sheamus, and Rey pick up the win. Great finish to the match. Really fun match to watch. Very emotional, obviously, with John Cena's last ever Raw appearance. And then, of course, you had Cam Scalabo and Andrew Schultz and Abdul Carter getting in a fight for Judgment Day, which was pretty funny. Then we got we had a backstage segment between Paul Heyman, Adam Pearce, and Nick Aldis, and he's like, I know I pissed you guys off with my 4th pick for Survivor Series being Drew McIntyre, who Aldis had suspended. My 5th one, you're not gonna like him. He hands him the binder, and they open it up, and they both were like, oh my god. And Pierce goes, this is gonna be fun. More on that in a minute. And then, of course, Stephanie Vaquero's coming out because she was attacked by Nikki Bella, who turned heel on her the previous week. I expect those two to have a work on very soon. Hopefully at Survivor Series next weekend. Obviously, back we had Lyra and Bayley. And then Bayley went up to the Wookiee Warriors, and they tried to invite her to their Survivor Series team. She said, absolutely not. And then we had a last time now, Soul's call his mystery opponent was Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, also known as Nick Nemeth, is in TNA. Fan favorite, Hebo Soul's mystery opponent got a great pop. Soul does win the match. Match was kind of okay. I thought it could have been better, honestly. I would like to see Dolph win, honestly. He has more history with John than Soul does. I would like to see him win, but maybe he's got plans in TNA. I'm not sure, but it was a great pop. It was good to see him, but Solo Sikoa does win the match. And then Alexa Bliss cut a promo. That was an incredible promo. She is so good. And then she was interrupted, obviously, by the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jax and Lash Legend, who then started attacking her. But then Io and Rhea come out with the numbers still not in their favor. Charlotte Flair comes out and helps fend off the heels, and it looks like she is in for Survivor Series now, which means both teams need one more woman. We had a women's Intercontinental Championship match, Max Dupri against Becky Lynch. Obviously, Becky arguing with the ref as she was undoing the turnbuckle. AJ Lee returned. I've not seen her since that blockbuster return, which led to a mixed tag match where she tapped out Becky Lynch. And also Palooza. She comes back, distracts Becky Lynch, enough for Maxine Dupri to defeat Becky Lynch and win the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Very happy for Maxine Dupri. She's worked really hard. She's gotten a lot better in the ring. And that should lead to a Becky and AJ Lee feud. Obviously, backstage, AJ Lee was doing an interview with Kayla Braxton. And then Rhea comes up through and says, "Hey, can we talk?" And he said, "Sure." So I assume that means AJ Lee will be involved in Survivor Series on the babyface team. And then we had last time is now tournament match. Javon Evans against Gunther. This was like fantastic match. Javon Evans is so good. Can't wait till he's on the main roster full time. But Gunther back of his old theme, which is awesome. Pick up the win. Great match. Would like to see just Javon win. I don't really think Gunther needs to be Cena's last opponent. I don't think he needs the bump, but it might be what it is. But great match. Gunther picks up the win. We had a War Games face to face. Of course, it was the baby faces, which is Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and the Usos. And then it's the heel team, which we at this point we knew was the Bronze, Logan Paul, and Drew McIntyre. And then an all-out war ensued. And then Brock Lesnar comes out. Brock Lesnar is the final member of the heel team. It looked like he fended everyone off. And then Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman Reigns is the last member of the babyface team. I'm as tired as Roman's 1,000 returns as the next guy. But this was a better way to do it. At least it wasn't him making the save for the Usos against the Bronze for once. So the Men's Survivor Series War Games match will be Cody Rhodes, the Usos, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns against the Bronze, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar. I don't really think it's kind of boring. I could have booked that. Like, why are Roman and Cody on the same team again? Roman and Brock again against each other? Like, what the hell are we doing? Like, what are we doing? I wouldn't have had Cody Rhodes on the team. Have him fight somebody at Survivor Series. Come on. And then NXT yesterday was a lot of fun. We opened up with Chelsea Green and Ethan Page against Joe Hendry and Thea Hale in the mixed tag match. Green and Page escaped with a win in the solid match. Yeah, Blake Monroe against Soruko just coming off an injury for the NXT North American title that Monroe took off Soruko a few weeks back, and where Soruko got hurt in. With her a brutal submission move, her partner Zarya threw in the towel, which led to an emotional argument backstage between the two of them. I expect those two to break up very soon. And we had Darkseid and NXT Tag Team Championship match against Leon Slayer and Javon Evans. Leon Slayer, he's something else. He's TNA's ex-champion. Now, Darkseid picked up the win, but it was a really good match. And then we had Tavion Heights and Josh Briggs fought backstage. Remember, Ava Ray announced that John Cena is going to pick the on NXT next week the contestants in that tournament. Tatum Paxley against JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship, and JC Jane with the help of Izzy Dane. Izzy Dane turns on Tatum Paxley. Sean Spears and his buddy side with Izzy Dane, of course, and JC Jane is once again the NXT Women's Champion. I think she's the fourth woman to be two-time NXT Women's Champion ever. And of course, we had the promo between Obafemi and Ricky Saints, who's the NXT Champion. Trick Williams came out to try and reinsert him into things. And Miles Bourne hit him with a chair and said, I get the winner of the two of you. I think Saints should win. Now, Obafemi is still right for the main roster. Honestly, I think he would have been in the Cena's tournament. He would be a great last opponent for Cena. But even in NXT, he's so over. Like, there's very few guys on the main roster that like you can look at and there's any reason for Oba to beat for Oba to lose to. I think it's why it's taking so long to get him on the main roster because like he has to. He honestly needs to be like literally be the ruler on the main roster as well. But love that guy. But that was NXT. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long and have a great day.